This podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations.
The mission of Creative Therapeutic Solutions is to find creative and evidence-based solutions to those who seek them by providing a variety of services, including individual, group, and family therapy, psychoeducational trainings, supervisory and case consultation services, and other special projects to help meet the needs of the world in a compassionate, authentic, and motivated environment while meeting each client as an equal. Valerie Atellis interviews Krista McCrory. She is an experienced, licensed, independent clinical social worker in Birmingham, Alabama, and a founder of Creative Therapeutic Solutions, LLC. Krista provides individual, group, and family counseling, case and program consultations, social work supervision, along with psychoeducational training and material creation. She is passionate about helping those with a variety of challenges, but has specific experience with children, teens, and young adults struggling with LGBTQ+ issues, sexual behavior problems, trauma, attachment disorders, and problems that have received intervention in the past with no success. Krista brings creativity and energy into her work, and her clients know her as a reliable and trusted practitioner. Meet Krista at creativetherapeutic.solutions. Here is the interview with Krista McCrory.
In your own words, who am I speaking with today?
My name is Krista McCrory. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and owner of a therapy private practice called Creative Therapeutic Solutions, and it's based in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm also an improv actor, an amateur paleontologist, and a person who loves the outdoors.
What is life to you?
Life to me is an adventure. It's exploring who you are, why you're here, and experiencing the wonders of this world through thankful eyes.
What do you think is the opposite of life?
I'd say the opposite of life is to be focused on anything that's not the present, whether it be regrets of the past, or worries about the future, or comparing yourself to another person, or taking life for granted.
What is the purpose of the human experience?
I'm not so sure that things inherently have a purpose other than what we give to it. I think there's a lot of freedom in this because we can make our purpose and our lives and who we are whatever we want. And if there was a purpose, I'd say that it would be to recognize this and to live this out.
At this time, what is the purpose of your life?
The purpose that I've chosen for my life is to be the best person that I can be. So to me, this means internally working on optimizing my thoughts to serve me, externally taking care of and using my body in healthy ways, showing kindness to others, and staying curious and grateful in the world.
What are some of the greatest misconceptions about happiness, in your opinion?
Being a therapist is a fantastic perspective to answer this because I get to intimately hear from other people how they experience and manufacture happiness. So I think the greatest misconception about happiness is that there is some defined standard that you have to reach to experience happiness. I would say that this standard doesn't exist anywhere, and it's up to you to decide for yourself what's going to make you happy. Another misconception I've seen is that there are people that are striving for excitement rather than life satisfaction, which kind of gives them a sugar high of happiness rather than long-term joy.
What do you love most about being in a human body?
I'd say my favorite thing about the human body is the power of the mind to transform circumstances into something we can change or control or think differently about, and also to experience spirituality.
What is healing to you?
I find that when I'm in nature or living simply or being mindful, I find my highest levels of peace. So if I have hurt feelings or feeling heavy or damaged, I try to tap into this peace for healing by taking a hike or sleeping under the stars or quieting my mind to be as mindful as I can.
What is the meaning of freedom to you? What is to be free?
To me, freedom is more of a mindset than it is what society may dictate. I believe a freedom mindset is allowing yourself to freely think, experience, and live without constraints of expectations from others or from yourself.
At this time, what is the world's greatest need? And also, do you have a vision for a new reality?
I think that a lot of people spend their time mentally anywhere else but the present, and they miss out on what's going on internally and externally. I think that people being more in touch within themselves and the world around them would solve a lot of the world's problems.
What is your understanding and idea of love?
For a long time, I had a really hard time figuring out what love was. I had thought love was this loud, aggressive, possessive, showy thing. But I now realize that love is quiet, and it's patient, and it's steady and still. I'm also learning that love doesn't rise and fall in your attention spotlight like other emotions. It's something that you have to make a choice to move your spotlight towards, but it's always been there.
What is inner peace to you?
Inner peace to me is feeling one and whole with what's around me through nature and living in harmony within myself.
What, where, and who is God to you?
I believe that God is more of a universal force than a personhood or a personality. I believe that this universal force connects everything and every living thing. And I believe that everyone is divine because everyone has divinity within them, because this universal force is within them. I believe that our living in consciousness is from this universal force. And I don't believe that there's anything before or after death. I believe that the universal force inhabits us for a while, so that gives us life. And then the universal force leaves us for a while, and then we die. But this piece of universal force that was within us stays connected to the rest of the whole, as it always was when it leaves us. And it's always a part of the whole, whether it's inhabiting us and making us alive or not within us, making us dead.
What is to be spiritual? And what is spirituality?
Because of my definition of God being a universal force, my personal definition of spirituality would be to tap into and bring out the goodness of the universal force inside and all around us.
How do you define success? What is to be successful to you?
My standards for success are more centered around living my life authentically as possible, rather than success through goals of achievement. To be successful for me would be something like, I told them how I really felt today, or I stayed true to myself even though I felt pressure to change. I find that the more authentic I live, the more these other goals fall into place, like starting my own business and reaching a certain income bracket or training for a triathlon.
So, why did you choose to do what you do?
So I'm a clinical social worker, and as a social worker, I've worked in many different fields and with many different populations. But I feel fortunate to have found my place as a therapist and to have opened my practice because I'm naturally a curious person that wants to know people on a deep level, and I get to explore with my clients and help them discover more about themselves all the time, kind of like what you do in this podcast.
Talk to me for a moment about the services you offer.
My private practice is called Creative Therapeutic Solutions, and it's based in Birmingham, Alabama. I provide individual therapy sessions for teens through adults, group therapy, and family therapy. I also provide clinical social work supervision for social workers who are training to become therapists and open their own private practices. And I provide psychoeducational services, which are trainings for employees of agencies or schools or other organizations on the topics that I specialize in, and just on general mental health stuff. My niches include LGBTQ issues, trauma processing, and problematic sexual behaviors.
Where can we find more information about you, your work, products, services, and future projects?
You can find more about me and the services I offer on my website, which is Creative Therapeutic Solutions, or you can just Google my practice name, which is Creative Therapeutic Solutions. Or you can also call me at 205-578-2692, or email me at krista.mccrory@therapysecure.com. So CHRISTA.MCCRORIE@therapysecure.com.
We are almost at the end of our conversation, and I have 2 final questions for you. If you knew you would die soon, meaning losing the body, would you make any change in your life or do anything in a different way?
I try to live my life mindful that death is coming. So while some people are freaked out by that, it helps me feel freer to live loudly and make mistakes. If I knew that I was going to die soon, I would travel a whole lot more than I do. I have plans to travel, but COVID has kind of limited those for the time being. So if I knew I was going to die soon, regardless of COVID, I would sell everything and roam the world, and I would probably eat more pasta.
What are 3 things about life you know for sure as of this moment?
I'm very aware that most things I do not actually know about, and I'm finding that the more I dig into the things that I think I know about, that I learn that I don't actually know anything about them. But I guess some things that I know for sure is that everything in my life gets better when I take care of my body. Asking more questions makes more authentic relationships. And the more I love being alone with myself, the happier I become.
Thank you so much for your presence, for sharing your wisdom and doing what you do.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Krista McCrory and her work, please visit creativetherapeutic.solutions.
To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast. Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.